And so today, after yesterday's uproar across all the news feeds, all the media, all the channels and agencies, a certain silence has set in. And in this silence, Maria Zakharova's cry sounded especially powerful. Maria has an unenviable role. She voices Russia's fear. And Maria, it should be understood, works in an aesthetic that is native to her, that of a well-appointed drunk tank. And by now, frankly, it's gotten old. Of course, she needs to look for some new forms of political hysteria because this constant fit of convulsions just isn't impressive anymore. Let's note in general that Russia didn't enjoy its role as a country favored by Trump for very long, really not long at all. A country whose president was rolled out the red carpet, a country that confidently broke through the bubble of isolation in Alaska, and a country that was a full participant in global affairs. In short, it's clear that Russia still won't be taking part in any of these processes. And remember how Putin, even though he was left without dinner and without a valuable gift, was beaming, how Lavrov and his team were grinning triumphantly in Alaska. Russians thought that everything was in the bag. And then, bam, here comes this parade of Europe in the Oval Office. In other words, Trump made a very elegant move by organizing a parade of anti-Russian forces. And he patted the participants of this parade on the head even more affectionately and diligently than he did Putin. And as for them, he didn't skimp on the banquet or the gifts either. But overall, it's clear that in Alaska, the show ended right where it began. With nothing, the Russians went back into the gloom of their Russian world. And today, yes, there was already a heart-wrenching cry from the special NATO representative that there should be no NATO, absolutely no NATO in Ukraine. Maria Zakharova herself can make every effort to ensure that NATO never appears in Ukraine. This includes parachuting in and running around naked at NATO deployment sites. And so, taking advantage of her appearance, of course, she can suddenly pop out of sewers, out of manholes. This will slightly undermine the discipline and morale of the French-British divisions, no matter who is there, but it still won't force the NATO contingent to flee. And Russia has no real other means of influencing these processes. And in this despair of Masha's outcry, in his hopelessness, there was still something that made the West smirk with satisfaction, this premonition, this foreknowledge that undoubtedly NATO troops will be in Ukraine. They will be there no matter what. And even if this war can be reined in for a while and this heated, ever volatile, explosion-prone standoff sets in, or if the war continues in full force, NATO's involvement is inevitable either way. And Russian outcries about this are powerless.